The Genesis of Chinese Mythology, A Journey Through Time and Tradition. Prologue, The Tapestry of Time. Chinese mythology, a vast and intricate tapestry woven from the threads of ancient stories, beliefs, and traditions, stretches back millennia into the very heart of Chinese civilization. It is a living mythology born from the mists of antiquity, shaped by the unique geography, culture, and philosophy of the Chinese people. Unlike the mythologies of Greece or Norse culture, which are often portrayed as relatively isolated systems of belief, Chinese mythology is more fluid, absorbing elements of religion, philosophy, and folklore as it evolves. This documentary explores the genesis of Chinese mythology, tracing its origins and transformations across time, dynasties, and belief systems. Chapter 1. The Dawn of Civilization and the Birth of Myths. Chinese mythology finds its earliest roots in the prehistoric times of the Neolithic Age, long before the advent of written records. Archaeological discoveries, such as the remains of the Yangshao and Longshan cultures along the Yellow River, reveal early symbols and totems that suggest a rich tapestry of myths associated with nature, the cosmos, and the ancestors. For the ancient Chinese, the world was animated by unseen forces, and these forces were often embodied in gods, goddesses, and spirits. Central to these early myths is the notion of Tian, Tan, or heaven, a powerful cosmic force that ruled over the natural world. But the human imagination sought to give heaven a more tangible form, and so the first deities began to emerge. Nuwa and the creation of humanity. One of the earliest and most revered deities in Chinese mythology is Nuwa, Nirwa, the mother goddess. According to myth, after a great flood destroyed the world, Nuwa shaped the first humans out of yellow clay, imbuing them with life and the ability to reproduce. She later mended a hole in the sky, restoring the natural order of the universe. Nuwa represents the concept of yin, the nurturing and life-giving force, and is often associated with balance and harmony. Pangu and the cosmic egg. Another foundational myth is the story of Pangu, Pangu, the giant who separated heaven and earth. Before creation, the universe was an amorphous, chaotic mass contained within an egg. Pangu emerged from the egg and split it open, creating the sky from its upper half and the earth from its lower. As he labored over the separation, his body transformed into the elements of the natural world, his breath becoming the wind, his eyes the sun and moon, and his limbs the mountains. Pangu's myth symbolizes the duality of yin and yang, opposing but complementary forces that define existence. Chapter 2. The Rise of Chinese Civilization and the Heroic Age. As Chinese civilization began to flourish along the Yellow River, transitioning from isolated farming communities into complex societies, the myths surrounding its origins also expanded. The era of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, Tan Huang Wu Di, became central to China's legendary history. These figures, often described as culture heroes, are credited with teaching humanity the arts of civilization, agriculture, medicine, writing, and law. The 3 sovereigns. Fuxi, often regarded as the father of Chinese culture, Fuxi is credited with introducing the Bagua, the 8 trigrams that form the foundation of the I Ching, an ancient divination text. He also taught humanity how to fish, hunt, and domesticate animals. Nirwa. Nuwa is sometimes paired with Fuxi, and they are depicted as siblings or partners who helped establish order in the world. Shinnong, Sunnong. The divine farmer, Shinnong is credited with inventing agriculture and discovering medicinal herbs. He is said to have tasted hundreds of plants to discern their properties, and his contributions laid the foundation for Chinese herbal medicine. The 5 emperors. Following the reign of the 3 sovereigns, the legendary 5 emperors are said to have ruled during a golden age of virtue and harmony. The most prominent of these is the Yellow Emperor Huangdi, who is revered as the mythical ancestor of the Chinese people. His reign marks a period of peace, technological advancement, and the establishment of rituals and governance. The Yellow Emperor is also associated with the invention of key technologies such as the compass, writing, and bronze weapons. His rule is remembered as a time of great wisdom, and he is often linked to the Taoist search for immortality. In mythology, he is said to have ascended to heaven on the back of a dragon, becoming an immortal deity. Chapter 3. The Mythical Geography of China. China's vast and varied geography played a central role in the development of its mythology. Rivers, mountains, and forests were often personified or associated with divine beings. The Yellow River, for instance, was not just a source of life, but a living entity with a will of its own, shaping the fortunes of the people who lived along its banks. The Sacred Mountains. Chinese mythology is filled with sacred mountains that were considered gateways to the divine. The five great mountains, Wu Yu, Wu Yue, were regarded as the pillars of heaven and earth, each associated with a specific direction and deity. For example, Mount Tai, Taisan, in the east, was associated with the god of the afterlife and was believed to be a place where souls could ascend to heaven. Dragons and the control of water. Dragons hold a special place in Chinese mythology, symbolizing power, strength, and good fortune. Unlike the malevolent dragons of Western myth, Chinese dragons were seen as benevolent, controlling the rains, rivers, and seas. The Dragon King, Long Wang, was responsible for the weather and water, and temples were built to honor him, especially in regions prone to drought or floods. Chapter 4. The Influence of Religion and Philosophy. As Chinese culture evolved, particularly during the Zhou dynasty, 1046 to 256 BCE, the development of philosophical thought began to influence mythology. Confucianism and Taoism, the two great schools of Chinese thought, redefined how people understood the world and their place in it. Confucianism and the moral order. Confucianism, founded by Confucius, Kongzi, placed a strong emphasis on moral conduct, filial piety, and social harmony. While Confucius himself did not focus on mythology, the legends surrounding the early sage kings like the Yellow Emperor were incorporated into Confucian teachings. These figures were idealized as paragons of virtue, and their stories were used to illustrate moral lessons about leadership, governance, and human relationships. Taoism and the mystical tradition. In contrast to Confucianism's emphasis on societal order, Taoism, embraced the mysteries of nature and the cosmos. Taoist texts, like the Tao Te Ching attributed to Laozi, Lao Tzu, often explore the nature of the Tao, the fundamental principle that underlies the universe. In Taoist mythology, immortals, sages, and alchemists search for eternal life and enlightenment. Legendary figures like the Eight Immortals, Ba Shan, became central characters in Taoist folklore, each representing different aspects of the Taoist quest for transcendence. The Queen Mother of the West. One of the most prominent deities in Taoist mythology is the Queen Mother of the West, Zhuangmu, Shiwangmu, who rules over a mystical paradise in the Kunlun Mountains. She is the guardian of the peaches of immortality, which grant eternal life. Her kingdom became a symbol of the Taoist ideal of harmony with nature and the pursuit of spiritual perfection. Chapter 5. The Synthesis of Buddhism. By the 1st century CE, Buddhism had begun to spread into China from India, bringing with it a new set of myths and religious ideas. The integration of Buddhist thought into Chinese culture created a unique fusion of indigenous and foreign elements. While Chinese mythology remained grounded in its own traditions, Buddhist deities like Guanyin, the goddess of mercy, became deeply intertwined with local folklore. The Journey to the West. One of the most famous examples of this synthesis is the legend of the monk Xuanzang, Shenzong, and his pilgrimage to India, immortalized in the classic novel Journey to the West, Xiaoji. In this story, Xuanzang is accompanied by the mischievous Monkey King, Sun Wukong, Thun Wukong, who possesses magical powers and embodies many aspects of both Taoist and Buddhist thought. Sun Wukong's character, with his rebellious nature and quest for immortality, became a beloved figure in Chinese popular culture. Chapter 6. The Legacy of Chinese Mythology. Chinese mythology, though rooted in ancient times, continues to shape the cultural and spiritual life of modern China. Many festivals, such as the Lunar New Year and the Dragon Boat Festival, are steeped in mythological tradition. Temples dedicated to deities like the Jade Emperor, Yuhuang, who rules over heaven, and Mazu, the goddess of the sea, continue to attract worshippers seeking blessings and protection. In the arts, literature, and cinema, Chinese mythology remains a powerful source of inspiration. Modern retellings of ancient myths, whether in the form of novels, films, or television dramas ensure that these stories continue to resonate with new generations. Epilogue, a living tradition. The genesis of Chinese mythology is not a story with a fixed beginning or end.